Hello, histology class. This is Dr. Ogilvy, and it is Saturday, January the 14th, 2017. This video is going to give you a brief overview of the course. And the first thing I want to point out to you is if you want to get more territory, if you choose one of these menu items, all you have to do is to hover your cursor near the top of the menu and you see an arrow, and when you click that, you have more territory. So that may be helpful particularly when you're taking a quiz or an exam. So to get back, you just hover the cursor back over that area, find the arrow, and you go like that. A number of you have already discovered that you can introduce yourself and earn 10 points. And each time a person introduces themselves, I give a brief response, and you can read that response by way of my grades, which is a link here. That will not work on my administrative access, but on your student access, you click my grades, and you can review the introduction response I give. You can review quizzes and exams that you've taken to the level of the permission that we have given you. Okay, so there will be some surveys that we will offer during the course, and you will access them here. Currently, you click on that, and there are no surveys available. The course bulletins, very shortly, you will receive on Monday, by Monday of this week, which would be January the 16th. The second bulletin will be posted, and it will have some helpful information about WebMic and BioLucida, which are the two critical programs that you use in the course besides Blackboard and access to the lectures. So from Monday on, whenever you receive an email, it will be very brief, and it will simply point you to a new bulletin that has been posted, because that's the way we can keep a permanent record of the important communication in the class. Notwithstanding, if you need to contact me, don't hesitate by email, but try to make your emails having to do with personal matters and post on the discussion board those things that are relevant to course content and understanding. By now, of course, there are, most people have access to the course website one time. I'm going to give an update of the status of involvement in the course in a couple days. And many of you have gone through the check-in course page and then gone to the bottom where you cannot see in my administrative view marking the page, but down here on the very bottom of this page, you have to mark that. And that's one of the steps you must take in order to get access to the course lectures and the entire website. And I'm sure you've clicked on the course staff and seen pictures of myself as well as Dr. Sawyer and our TA in the course. Do not sell short the tech and troubleshooting. If you're having trouble with anything in the course, we've tried to anticipate that, and you have all of these contacts. Now, in two different places, you've got information that if your computer is temporarily down, then we recommend 3 labs on campus. Gambrel Hall Basement Computer Lab is probably the best one to go to, and then the Thomas Cooper Lab on the 5th floor. Actually, I changed the order in one of these. I need to move the Jones Physical Lab up to number 2 because in priority it's second best, and the Thomas Cooper Lab is probably the least, but can be used for BioLucida. You will find that the Gambrel Hall Lab has both the BioLucida, the latest version installed, where you have to go and each time you use it, you have to set up the clouds again because it's not your personal computer, and it's only going to have, it's going to do away with anything you set up when the next user comes on. And there's going to be a limited number of PC computers where you can access and run WebMic, and I'll need to provide or you ask the lab manager for that information if you have to go and use the computers there. So in terms of quiz and exam information, we have given you information about the exams. Be sure to read all this. And now the sample tests, they're very critical. And why do we give you sample tests? Sample test A and sample test B, because we want you to get familiar with taking the quizzes in Blackboard in case you haven't, but also giving you a little insight into the level of detail that we require in learning histology, both the lecture and the lab content. Now, and part B is taking that is very essential to make sure that the cloud you set up in BioLucida Viewer is working properly, and you can log into Blackboard within BioLucida and you can take a quiz, and that has questions linked to virtual slide specimens that are residing in our BioLucida server. So that's incredibly important. And while some students fail to take advantage of the feedback we give in each of these, but if you will do that, it will give you even further insight. So take some time, even if you made a perfect score and you haven't read the feedback, just read it and think about it. And you can go back and visit these anytime you want to gain some insight. Okay, so that's quiz and exam information. And then in the graded quiz exam, of course, we've got the course syllabus. That deadline is by Monday. And we have, the warning here. You've got to take the syllabus quiz. All you have to do is submit it. But, of course, you'll want to earn as many of the 25 points available as possible. You've got to mark the course check-in page reviewed. You've got to take both the sample test A, part B, and A and B, and make a perfect score. Because if you don't do that, then none of these folders down here to access the lectures and other things about the course would not appear. And we've also given you here very important information, because you can download this histology word list, and it's not exhaustive. Well, we have attempted to give you a good idea of, and most of the terms, names of cells, tissue, organs, parts of organs, region, etc., that you learn in the course, and you can use this during the exam to look up things so you can spell them correctly. So perusing this early and having it on your computer so you can open it quickly when you're taking a quiz exam is extremely advisable. So we'll go back to now the module quizzes. Each one of them, of course, module quiz 1 is available, and we give you the same. We give you a hint about taking part B and A and B. Watching this video is very important. Actually, I'm going to move this up here. In fact, I need to, in my administrative, I actually need to move this up. I'm going to pause this for a minute. There, now I have them in the right order. At the very top is our hints for taking the quiz or exam, and a video that is worthwhile watching. And then we always include this in every quiz or exam, reminding you of the instructions for taking part B, but that you have to take within BioLucida Viewer, logged into the quiz and exam cloud, and then accessing Blackboard within that. And so you cannot go directly into Blackboard. Even though you will see it here, you have to go into BioLucida, log into Blackboard with that, and then find the quiz here and click on it and take it. Okay, so now special requirements are only apply to graduate students, which there are 2 in the course. WebMic. Now, WebMic can be a challenge. I'm going to give the statistics of the success of using WebMic last semester. We are dealing with a Java applet problem in which a number of browsers are either have stopped loading Java applets from the past, and others are giving warning that they will. I'm going to provide detailed information on that. But right now, the safest thing is if you're a PC user, use Internet Explorer. That's the safest. And if you use Google Chrome in a PC and you add the IE tab as we recommended, in which you have information about that here, then it will work very well on a PC. I'm going to provide information about how to make Internet Explorer work on a Mac, or actually Google Chrome on a Mac, and there's a cloud in which you can add an extension that will emulate Internet Explorer. Mozilla still is working on 32-bit Mozilla, but not 64. So I'm going to provide some information on that soon. But for the most part, last semester, the majority of the class were able to use WebMic. Now this access right here, which is WebMic 2, that is working quite well. And I see that I'm going to have to pause this and fix this link, because you see it changes to a hand here, and it changes into hand here and here, but not here. That tells me this link is broken. So I'm going to fix it right now and then get back on here. So now that's fixed. And when you click on that, and actually the second one is probably the fastest loading one of all four, webmic2.cas.sc. That means it's coming from the College of Arts and Sciences, University of South Carolina server. Okay, so make sure you try your best to get WebMic working, and then look for the help that we provide and post on the discussion board under WebMic technical issues. BioLucida, it should be very straightforward. We've tried to give you all the latest information about that, as well as how to install it. And over here, in fact, I've got to reorder these too. I've noticed those are all out of order. So I'm going to pause and straighten that out too. I'm just finding some things as I go through. Okay, so I've fixed that now, and there's detailed instructions for Gambrel Hall Basement Computer Lab, where you can go in case your computer is temporarily down. Just be advised that in order to take this course, you really need to have a proper laptop or desktop, either Mac or PC. It turns out that about 60% of my classes have Macs and about 40% PCs. So there's Gambrel Hall, Thomas Cooper Library, the Jones Physical Lab. Now this is found under the tech troubleshooting, but it also, there is a link by way of the graded quizzes and exams here that says if your personal computer problems, click here to see where you can take a quiz on campus. So when you click that, see, that takes you to the tech and troubleshooting page, and there it is at the bottom. Okay, so let's continue on. The next thing would be the discussion board. And the discussion board is highly organized. I see one person has introduced themselves that I haven't responded to yet, which I will soon. And right now there are no posts, but there was a post on the module lecture content. And let me give you an example of why it's important to post. You see there are 3 total posts here. And a student posted a question about one of the lectures, Module 1 lecture, slide 24 and 28. Now, either my TA or myself will respond to this, and I responded to this by duplicating the questions and putting my answers here. I cannot emphasize enough that we're not in a classroom, we don't communicate directly, but this is the most important means of communication in the class and learning. Take the time to ask questions if you are confused, and always, always stay up to date on the discussion board so that you don't visit here and find all kinds of unread posts here. You should be visiting this no less frequently than every other day. Not a bad idea to check it every day, but certainly do not put it off and put it off, and certainly do not be timid about participating, because there are no silly or stupid questions. If you need to know something, you need to post, and we will do our best to respond the same day and no later than the next day. Okay, so that's the discussion board. I will be talking a little bit about the groups and try to I'll have you organized in groups by graduate students, students that are on remote campuses, and the students are on the Columbia campus. It'll be up to you within that if you want to communicate within the groups. Email, you can use a direct email to email me by this means, by selecting users, but the best way to email your instructor is just to use the email address, which is bioj530@gmail.com. We've given that to you previously in the bulletin. There's a glossary of terms. I'm not going to go through each one of these, but I encourage you early on to visit each one of these, understand the comment here, the content in each one of these, color deficiency, text anxiety, help, etc., etc. So that pretty much concludes the overall. I haven't activated a home page, and I probably will not. It's hidden right now from everybody. So back to the course bulletin, and I will be posting 2 more videos shortly. One will focus on how to use the lecture and the resources revolving around the lecture to prepare for your quizzes, and also one that will focus on the lab resources, including WebMic and BioLucidA lab specimens. I guess there is one more thing that I'll point out. If you go to the course module folders, and I'm going to revisit this with the course modules, but look at module 1, and we've instituted a new way to earn some points. We used to have the quizzes at the end of the lecture counted for points for the grade. Now they're free, and you can't earn any points, but it's a good idea to answer those questions. But we do have a graded practice lecture and lab quiz for module 1. And in this quiz, we've tried to explain, read this text carefully. Essentially, it tells you have 3 attempts to take this quiz before midnight, near midnight, Thursday, January 26th. And after each attempt, you can see which questions you answered correctly, and you know the correct answer. You will not see the correct answer if you didn't answer correctly, but you can read the feedback, and you can study, and you can try the next attempt, and then you may get it right. So those 3 attempts, once they're completed, after the 26th near midnight, then we keep the highest score for your grade. And that will earn for each of these graded practice quizzes 20 points toward your final grade, for a total of 100 points during the course. We've got image specimens in here, but there's no part B, no virtual slides in that, and I'm going to give you guidance in the next video, which focuses on the lab resources, how to use the BioLucidA specimens to best prepare for part B. So be sure to take advantage of this quiz and use it to learn and to assess your progress. Now, this is different than the Module 1 graded quiz, which you can access here, or you can access it by directly going to graded quizzes and exams, and then go back down to Module 1, where you'll see that's already available. You can take those anytime between now and the deadline of Monday, January the 30th at 8 a.m. Pay attention to the deadlines. Make sure you got your course schedule. The calendar schedule is a good one to keep track of things and your assignments. So more about the lecture approach in detail and the lab approach detail shortly. Thank you for your attention, and good luck in the course.